Hi guys, welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to talk about how to shift and how to control the shifting from bigger muscles to the push-pull technique. The push-pull, as we already saw in an older lesson, it's a great technique and a great motion to play very fast and to use one motion to play two strokes. But how do we actually apply this in our playing, and what's a good routine to work on being able to just run in the push-pull without having to actually have a bar of getting in the motion? So let's start to break down the shifting between the arm motion and the push-pull, and let's see what's the best way to actually go from one type of control to the other. When we play the push-pull, what we can see is that the first stroke, it's always, or it can be compared to an arm stroke. So if we shift from an arm motion to a push-pull, we can kind of see how the first stroke of the push-pull, it's always very similar to the arm motion. So let's exactly see what I mean. Arm, 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 arm. Okay, so basically we'll still do a arm motion, and then we just squeeze back to have a second tap when we want to do the push-pull. So to break this down, what we need to understand is what's the difference between when we play the arm motion to when we play the push-pull. Basically, when we play the arm motion, once the stick hits the surface, we want to follow the stick back with the entire hand or arm. Even if we're playing a little bit faster with our wrist, we will do the same thing. As the stick hits the surface, we go back with the entire hand, following the stick back. Instead, when we want to play the push-pull, what happens is that the hand goes on in its direction and the stick comes back up on its own. Okay, so the hand is not going to follow the stick back as we do in the arm or German wrist motion. Okay, so the hand will open and then will close, and in the closing section we will do the second stroke with the squeeze. So we will have to basically alternate these two things when we shift from one type of control to the other. Following the stick back, letting the stick going in its own direction. Following the stick back, letting the stick back go. This is very important because many times we don't do this kind of thing, and we don't have this type of control, and this prevents us to staying synchronized to the rebound and to the stick. And so we have hard times going from one type of control to the other, or going in the push-pull directly. So let's do a good workout and have a routine to work on this type of shifting. I would suggest to do this even if you don't then apply the push-pull in your playing as singles, but the push-pull is a great technique also for double strokes, as we know. So it's good to also shift from arm to push-pull for double strokes. Or singles. Okay, so the routine will consist in, first of all, understanding how to keep the spaces between the notes even. If we keep the arm as the main motion for this kind of shifting, this will help us to keep the notes, the spaces between the notes even, because it will dictate the timing motion of our body. Because basically when we play the push-pull, we'll just double the speed. But what I have in mind is arm, 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 arm. And I also, of course, have to pay attention not to have a shuffle kind of feeling unless I don't want to play the double strokes, which that's another type of timing that we will give to the push-pull. And it's good to work both push-pull timings so that we have the straight and the shuffle for the doubles, which is, this is even closer than shuffle, because shuffle, it's a little bit different, but the concept is going to be the same. But what we have to understand from this is the type of motion, how we what's the difference between the two type of controls, and so that it will make it easier for us to just use the push-pull when we're playing, while we're actually using, like, playing our instrument, and we don't have to kind of think and overthink of, oh, okay, I have to go in the push-pull and I need to do, like, I have to throw the stick or any kind of weird motion. But also we have to realize that there are these little shifts that we have to do. Many people don't even realize how many things, how many details there are while we play. And once you know these details, you know how to react and how to play and deal with them. Okay, so this is the important part of this lesson. So the workout will consist in playing one bar of arm motion, one bar of push-pull, right hand, same thing with the left hand. Then we'll repeat playing one bar, arm motion, 2 bars, push-pull, 1 bar, arm motion, 3 bars, push-pull, and so on. So let's see an example. Then we can do the same thing with unison and alternated hands. So playing the alternated push-pull roll will be down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. Okay, then we will do the same, speeding it up. Then we can also work on the same exercise for the double strokes, playing 1 bar of alternated arm, 1 bar of double strokes with a push-pull, then 1 bar of arm motion, 2 bars of double strokes with a push-pull, and so on. Then, to make it even more complicated, we can start alternating this workout with our leg and ankle motion, or any technique motion that you want to use. So it will be something like this. And then speed it up. Okay, so in this way we will really go from just a simple shifting arm to push-pull to actually apply it to some bass drum patterns, or basically using it for the blast beat already, coordinating the motion for the blast beat and all that stuff. I think it's really important and it's very, very helpful. It's also good for when you get tired of blasting only in one way and you want to kind of rest a little bit but without losing volume. As you can see, the push-pull can give you a very good volume, and you can stay pretty relaxed. You don't need to fatigue too much. So it's a great technique. It's a great way of practicing. Also a great routine for speed warm-up. It uses both your wrist and fingers, so you actually warm up and use both parts of your hand. So there are a lot of benefits on this routine. Have a good practice, and I'll see you next time.